I wanted to add a bushcraft knife to my knife collection. No other reason really than I just quite fancy one. And fortunately, very nicely, is that the Prepper Shop UK is having a sort of child celebration sale. I think it's over now, so hard luck. But go on his website anyway, because it's really, really good. This is yet another Anglo Arms knife, although the difference with this one is, of course, it's been shot with a camera that actually works. And generally they go for between £10 and £15. This was an absolutely irresistible fiver. Can't go wrong really, can you? Which is why I bought it. What do you get? Well, first of all, it's a reasonably impressive sheath. It's quite tough. This sort of little bit opens up to a reasonable degree. You can get a reasonably thick belt on there. And as ever with Anglo Arms, you get enough of a tab just here to actually be able to unpop it quite neatly. It's quite a tiny little sheath, actually, surprisingly. The knife itself, 440 stainless steel. As you'd expect, it's not going to be massively good quality with Anglo Arms, but it's acceptable quality, which I think we should stress. There's no point in spending 300 quid on a full Niven if you're just going to take it camping a couple of times a year, frankly. This will be good enough. Obviously, you're going to need to carry a sharpener with it, 440, not being... It's at the lower end of the acceptable knife steel, I suppose. The handle I really, really like, and it has had a coat of boiled linseed oil just to bring out that wood finish, which I think is great. I'm generally quite impressed with it. It's actually really comfortable. There are, this fit laterally here obviously isn't brilliant, but then you're only paying a fiver for it, so you can't really complain too much, I don't think. Lanyard hole, really quite useful. Bit of jimping, which is in a funny, I think a bit of an odd position really. It's quite aggressive as well. You can hang on to it like that, which is okay. It goes a bit far back, I think, really. What I would like to have seen is something a bit further on here. But then the beauty of knives like this, being a fiver, is if you've got a Dremel like I have, you can cut your own jimping, and it takes a couple of minutes. And let's face it, you're not buggering up your 300 quid Fog Niven. You can chuck this away and get another one. Same, of course, as if you lost it. It's not. It'd be a bit of a blow, actually. It would be a blow, because I like this knife. It's quite adequate. I thought this is the word. So size-wise, there we go. What's that? About 21 centimeters, or if you're English, just under 8 inches. And it's not particularly heavy at, what's that? 180 grams or so. Well, I'm holding on to it, but yeah, 180 grams. Arrives surprisingly sharp. One area really where a lot of manufacturers do save money, particularly Anglo Arms, is doing it a not very sharp knife. This one, you can get this right, actually is shaving sharp, just. And a bit of feather sticking, so yes, you can do some quite, it's quite adequate, as long as you're going to keep it sharp, which you're going to need to do, because it's cheap steel. All in all, I'm actually really quite pleased with this. As I said, I'm not a bushcrafter. It was really to add one of these style of knives to the collection, and it came up at the right time, and I'm actually genuinely happy with it. I have been out and played with it a bit today, although it's bloody cold and windy. Part of it being, of course, feather sticking and trying to chop up bits of wood, see how it actually does, but I think that's perfectly acceptable. Nice little package overall, and I think for a fiver, it's just, you'd be daft not to, really. If you want a little bushcrafting knife and you don't want to spend a great deal, it's absolutely ideal. Anglo Arms knives, I think, represent a bargain, and the best part about them is, of course, if you do, you can modify things, you can change things, you can play with things, and if you get it wrong, you're only messing up a fairly cheap knife. It doesn't really matter very much. But all in all, I think it's quite an attractive knife. I do like that wood. It's fairly cheap wood. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's Chinese beech or something like that, I think. If anybody knows any better, please let me know. But it's a nice colour, isn't it? And the lanyard hole, the hole actually has a brass bolster through it, so I can't go wrong, really.